There are 8 fundamental functional movement patterns that every athlete, lifter, and person should master. And this is movement pattern number 4 in my functional movement mastery course, the lunge. The lunge is all about building single leg strength, balance, and stability. Whether you're just dropping into a reverse lunge or powering through some walking lunges, this pattern carries over into everything from sports performance all the way to climbing stairs to just building stronger knees and hips. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to set up and perform the lunge properly. Plus, I will walk you through 3 powerful variations you can start using right away to build strength, stability, and mobility that shows up both in the gym and your everyday life. What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today we are talking about movement pattern number 4 in my functional movement mastery course, the lunge. So this pattern shows up in our everyday lives. Just from getting up and off the floor, we are oftentimes utilizing a lunge pattern all the way to climbing stairs or just walking. This is going to show up in our sports, in sports performance, whether it be sprinting, running, jumping off a single leg, cutting directions, we're on the single leg. Also into the gym as well, right? Our lunge variations to build strength and to build muscle in the quads and glutes, which are our prime movers with this exercise. So first, we start off with our body weight. We're going to be utilizing the back lunge to showcase a lot of the principles of the lunge. They're all going to apply these principles to any variation that we're doing. And you're also already going to be familiar with a lot of these principles as they're very similar to the squat, and even more specifically, the Bulgarian split squat, which we finished off lesson number 3 with. So we're going to take a big step back. Most important thing here is that we do not let that front knee go inward. We don't want that internal rotation. We need to externally rotate the hip to turn on the glute and keep the glute firing throughout the entire pattern. We lower down with control. Do not slam your knee down. Lower down and lightly touch the floor with your back knee. From here, we're going to drive and push off the front foot, driving the knee outward as we stand tall and push our hips forward, flexing the quad and glute of that leg at the top. So we take that breath in before we lower or as we're lowering. Brace. Push those hips forward, drive that knee out, exhaling at the top. You guys can also manipulate the lunge in a similar fashion to that Bulgarian split squat, right? So we can take a longer step and also lean forward more, which is going to put more of a stretch on the glutes and a little bit of the hamstrings. So if you want to target glutes and hamstrings a little bit more, longer stride, more of a forward lean. If you guys want to target more of the quads more, shorter strides, so shorter step, torso very upright. All right, guys, variation number 1, we have the suitcase back lunge. So one of my go-tos, one of the most kind of just fundamental basic variations that's most effective in building strength and muscle in the quads and the glutes. So we start off hip hinge mechanics, feet under the hips, karate chop the waist, bend the knees, lats down and back, take the breath in, just stand tall. We take a nice big step back. We lower down with control, driving that front knee outwards, keeping the chest tall. Lightly touch the back knee. From here, one thing I did forget to mention in our bodyweight lunge is that we're not only pushing and driving off of that front leg and front foot, but we're also pushing off of the toes and that back leg to some extent as well. So we're here, push those hips forward, drive the knee out, exhaling at the top. So take that breath in. So that's the tempo I want to see. I don't want to see you guys rushing your lunges. That is a tempo to not only build muscle effectively and build strength effectively, but to be training safely and to be preserving our joints as well. All right, guys, variation number 2, we have suitcase walking lunges. So in variation 1, we went backwards. Now we're going to be going forwards in the walking lunge. Another one of my go-tos for just building muscle mass and size and building strength in my quads and my glutes. So we start off with our proper hip hinge as always. Hips back, lats down and back. We take a big step forward, lowering down with control, driving the front knee outwards, lightly touching the back knee to the floor, pressing off of the back toes and the back foot while driving off of this front foot and leg while driving the knee outwards, pushing the hips forward, squeezing our butt at the top. Then we go into our next step. Now, at first, I want you guys pausing in between reps until you get stronger. But ideally, I want you guys progressing to a point where you're adding some extra instability by having no pause in between and just going right into your next step. All right, guys, variation number 3, we have goblet side lunges. So now we're gonna be working what's called the frontal plane. So we're working laterally or working side to side to make sure that we're strong, proficient, and capable in all planes of motion with the lunging pattern. Now, this exercise is going to build quads and glutes. However, it's not going to be as effective as variations 1 and 2 in terms of building muscle mass and size. This exercise is going to be more of a secondary muscle builder to be thrown into the mix with variations like 1 and 2. This variation is going to be great for working, of course, quads and glutes, core strength and stability, but probably most importantly, mobility and hip mobility as well. You will see improvements. However, it's very important you start off slow. We start off with our body weight, dial in the technique, see where our limitations are with our mobility before we start just loading this movement up with heavy weight. So we start off, feet are gonna be under the hips. We're gonna take a big long step out to the side. This leg's gonna stay straight. Toes are pointed straight ahead. We're driving the knee out. Keeping the heel down, we're keeping our chest tall as we lower down into the lunge, utilizing those arms as a good counterbalance to keep that chest nice and tall, because the lack of hip mobility in the hips, of course, but inner thighs is going to then pull the chest forward as we lower down, just like in our squat, right? So it's so important that we keep that counterbalance and keep that chest nice and tall, right? So we take that breath in, brace, exhale, driving back up to that starting position. Another little trick here, if you guys are really struggling with that mobility, you can also pull the toes up on this straight leg, which is going to take some of the stretch off of the inner thighs and allow for a little bit more range of motion with the exercise. So big step out to the side, pull the toes up, rotate the hips slightly, then lower down into the exercise. Now, once we're ready to get into the actual movement, obviously you're starting very light and progressing with weight slowly over time. Proper hip hinge, we're getting into our clean, into that goblet position. Elbows nice and tight to the body. We take that breath in, full range of motion, keeping the chest tall, driving the knee out, driving up off that foot and leg, back to our starting position. Remember, if you guys want to try this out, where you're lifting the toes up for more range of motion, give it a go. Back down, hip hinge, and we're good. All right, guys, that is a wrap on movement pattern number 4 of my functional movement mastery course, the lunge. If this video helped you guys out, make sure to drop a like and subscribe so you guys do not miss functional pattern number 5, which is dropping very soon. If you guys have any questions about the lunge, whether it be knee pain, balance, stability, which variation is best for you in your training, drop a comment and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thanks for watching another video. Keep training smart, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.